We're going to start off cleansing the face with micellar cleansing water. I like to use this on all clients to take away the dirt, debris, or previous makeup that may be on the face. Next, I like to use a translucent powder to set the brows in case they get oily throughout the day. Next, I like to take 2 to 3 shades of foundation to put on the face and the neck to watch them oxidize as I do brows and eyeshadow to see what shade would be perfect for the client. I'm going to use this ABH pencil in the shade dark brown to line the top and the bottom of the brows and also fill in the brows. In the front of the brows, I'm going to use upward strokes to create that hair-like effect in the front of the brows. I like to use tape for any hair or baby hairs that is on the face that could possibly get makeup on. So I use this to avoid that happening. Next, we're going to use Too Faced concealer in the shade Warm Beige to conceal the top and the bottom of the brows. Next, we're going to bring all our excess concealer down. Then we're going to blend it out. And I also like to set it with a translucent powder to prep it for eyeshadow. To start off, I'll be working out of the new Persuasion palette from Believe Beauty. Here I'm going to add some tape to just give me a crisp line that I don't have to go back and clean up later with concealer. After my first transition shade, I'll take 2 more shades in this palette and deepen my crease to give me more depth. When I cut my crease, I like to use a detail liner brush. It just makes everything so much faster and easier. And then I'm going to fill in that cut crease with the rest of the eye base that I'm using to cut the crease. This next palette, Paint Me Chrome 2, I got from Planet Makeup by Yolando. It has beautiful shades, and I'm going to be using that silver shade in there. Look how pretty this shade is. It's so gorgeous. I really love this palette. After that lid color, I'm going to smoke out the edges using a dark brown and then that transition shade that we used in the beginning to give some definition between these 2 shades. So you'll see it go from light brown to dark brown. Next, I'm going to be using NYX glitter glue to put on top of that lid shade so I can add a little bit of shimmer right on top. And the shimmer I'll be using is from Danessa Myricks. It's a really pretty shimmer. Isn't that gorgeous? Next, I'm going to be using my favorite liner, the Inglot 77 liner. It is black, honey, okay? I use this liner on all my clients. It is a great liner. It goes on smooth. So if you have people who have watery eyes, this is like one of the most perfect liners because it's not going to run. So I'm going to do the liner shape that I want on both sides. And then we're going to get to the fun part. So I'm going to be adding rhinestones and pearls, and I'm going to use the Duo Lash Glue to map out the shape that I want the pearls and rhinestones to be in. And that's how I'm going to have them stick to the eye. And in the next clip, you'll see me start randomly placing all the different rhinestones and pearls in a cluster shape. Next, we're going to do a white waterline with the NYX Jumbo Pencil in Milk. I like to use this shade when I really want the eyes to pop. And since we're going for a doll look, we're going to use this. Now it's time to choose which foundation we like best, wipe it off, and then we're going to start skin prepping. My first step is always the Magic Cream by Charlotte Tilbury. It makes the skin looks beautiful. A lot of my clients always talk about how glowy they look. Under the eye, we're going to use this eye cream. It's a brightening eye cream. It's really nice too. I really like to put it on every client because it helps with the concealers and all of the powders. It's a really nice under eye cream. Next is the Laneige lip mask, and it smells so good. And this one is in the scent Gummy Bear. Next is primers. I'm going to use both of these milk primers on her. In her T-zone, I will be using the mattifying primer. And in the rest of her face where I didn't prime, I'll be using a Hydro Grip primer. Next is foundation. I actually mixed 3 parts Tahoe to 1 part Maria in NARS Natural Radiant Foundation. And I like to swipe it all over the face before I start to blend it out. And I also use it to go over the brows again so it doesn't give that halo effect. Next, I'm going to conceal using that same Too Faced concealer in the shade Warm Beige. Underneath the eyes, down the bridge of the nose, the forehead, and the chin. Next, I'm going to be using this foundation stick in the shade 130 to contour her face, more like bronze her face. And I'm going to go around the perimeter of her face and on her nose and chin as well. Next, I'm going to take my brush to start buffing it in using patting motions. And I do go a little bit over the concealer just to blend it a little bit more. But keep in mind that blush is definitely going to go in between those two. Next, we're going to add our liquid blush in the shade Barbie Rose from Juvia's Place. Keep in mind this is very pigmented, so if you're not familiar with the product, you want to do as little as possible or have something on the side to wipe the excess over with. But for this look, we wanted a lot of blush, so you'll see a lot of blush here. Next, we're going to start blending out all the highlight around the face. I want to point out that I don't necessarily blend out the contour on the nose. I just blend my concealer over top of it, and it kind of blends the two together within itself, and it still shows that darker shade even though you're putting concealer over the top of it. So I don't necessarily blend it out individually. I just blend the two together and it meshes well. Next, we're going to take this Derma Blend translucent powder and set everywhere that we put concealer. And I'm also going to take a little bit to set the entire face with this same powder. After I set the entire face, this is when I start to do my baking moments. I do down the bridge of the nose, sometimes I do the chin, and I definitely do underneath the eyes. Next, I'm going to add some warmth in the face using this Juvia's Place bronzer in the shade Tan. I'm going to use the top and the bottom, but I'm going to start with the lighter shade, and then I'm going to deepen it more with the darker shade if I feel like I need a little bit more depth in the face. Now we're going to add blush using the Juvia's Place blush. We're also going to use 2 different blushes, but this look definitely calls for a lot of blush, so you will see me use a lot of blush because we want to give that doll-like look. So I'm going to use this lighter shade to soften the other blush that I put on the face and going more inwards towards underneath the eyes to blend that out. It'll be very pretty. Next, I'm going to take this Sephora powder in the shade 40 to set around her face and to bring back some color all around the face. And you can also use this powder to soften up other things. Now I'm going to be using this One Size in the shade Sweet Honey to do some reverse contouring to snatch that face honey, because if you're not doing this, what are you doing? Next, I'm going to be using my favorite brushes to do nose contour. I'm going to be taking that lighter shade in that Tan Juvia's Place bronzer palette to go up and down the nose and also blend it into the eyeshadow. This brush makes it so easy. Now I'm going to focus on taking away all the powder that I put around the face to bake the face. I didn't want it to sit too long because I knew I wasn't trying to really too much snatch the face, but just enough to be noticeable. And I'm doing this with her foundation shade powder as well, so it's not too harsh. Next, I'm going to be using Wild Side by Believe Beauty to do the under eye in red. I'm going to be using 2 different reds, a darker red and a lighter red. And we're going to use this to smoke out the waterline. You see me taking a small blending brush and using a lighter shade of red to blend that out. Next, I'll be doing my first round of setting with the Morphe Continuous Setting Mist. And then I'll use my electric fan to dry it down. Next, I'll be going in with the Charlotte Tilbury setting spray. I'm going to use this black pencil from House Labs to outline the lips because we're going to do a deep, dark, edgy red lip. So I'm going to use that to outline the lip. After outlining the lip, you'll see me taking a lip applicator to blend it outwards because I want that black to be more prominent than the red, and I want that red to sit directly in the middle of. Next, I'll be using this Milani red lipstick to put directly in the middle of the lip, and then I'm going to start blending these 2 together between the black and the red to get the perfect lip that I'm looking for. Next, I'm going to be using this House Labs highlighter to add some highlight to the face. And after I use this, I'm going to go in with my Fenty Diamond Balm to add even more highlight on the face because we want to be really extra with this look. We want it to be popping, okay? Popping. Then I'm going to add a little bit of white right in the inner corner of both eyes. And then we're going to add mascara and prep the lashes for falsies. We're going to be using some Amazon lashes with some Duo Lash Glue. I like to line the glue on the eyes and then put the lashes on top. Next, we're going to add bows to finish off this Coquette makeup look. I just felt like these bows made it so freaking gorgeous, and it just was so on theme. Like, look at it. Tell me this isn't gorgeous. It is popping. Next, we're going to remove the tape and we're going to seal this makeup in. We're going to be using this fixing spray from So Pro. It is wonderful. And then we're going to use some alcohol on a Q-tip to clean off all her piercings, because we don't want makeup on piercings. Like, it's not a vibe. So definitely take that extra step. Clean off the makeup off the piercings. At the end, we added in some faux freckles with a KKO Beauty lip liner pencil and just set it with a lip powder on top. And that was the look, y'all. How do y'all feel about it? Like, is it a vibe? It's a vibe. It's definitely a vibe. I loved it.